Hey, this is Meridith Elliott Powell, and you know what time it is my favorite time of the week. It is 8 a.m. Eastern and time for Sales Logic. Hanging out here with my partner, Mark Hunter.
Hey, it's great to see you. And you went 5 for 5. That's an internal speaking code. We'll maybe unpack that later. But anyway,
That's right.
today we got a great show because we're going to talk about how to personalize the customer buying experience. Wow, in this world of AI, very, very important. So we got a great show and a great lightning round too, because we're going to talk about all that stupid stuff that, the biggest mistakes we see salespeople make. Good show.
All right, let's jump in. Hey, welcome back to Sales Logic, the show where we dive into the strategies, discuss the steps, everything that you need to know to sell logically. Now, listen, Mark is going to tell you what we've got on tap for today. Before we do, I always like to tell you how the show works because we want to invite you, the audience, to submit a question. We kick every show off all about you, answering your questions, making you more effective in the sales arena. We cover a hot topic, we recommend a book, and we have a lightning round. But Mark, before you dive into the show today, we got some big news, right? I mean, we've had the website redone and updated, the mastermind's on fire. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Hey, the mastermind, it's easier than ever. Just jump out to saleslogicpodcast.com and you're going to see right there how to get into the mastermind group. And it's really rocking and rolling. We've got the Sales Logic brain. We've got the whole vault in there. We've got the Sales Logic system that Mayor and I are working on right now. A lot of cool stuff. And the community has really come together. It's real. So you really got to get involved. You got to join. It's a game changer because, you can't do sales alone. Sales is a team sport. And what a great team to be on. So, hey, let me explain. Today's show. Our topic today, personalizing the customer buying experience. Think about that for a moment. How well are you customizing the buying experience? Not you, Meredith. I'm talking to the audience. Anyway, hey, the question comes from Serena in Fort Myers. She says, I feel like everywhere I turn and everything I read these days, sales gurus, I wonder if she's talking about us, I hope not, are talking about personalizing the customer experience. Is that different than what we have been doing for years? How important is it in sales today? And what do I need to help my team learn these skills?
I think the most interesting part of that question is that different than what we have been doing for years? And here's kind of what I think is that, I am so old that when things started out, we had a lot of ability and flexibility at the local level to truly customize the experience. Because I was in Rotary with you, Mark, if you needed something, even though I worked in a corporation, I had the ability to do that for you. And then somewhere around the 90s and early 2000s, they centralized all of that. And they took away all our ability to really personalize the experience. Now that has come back into fashion, but the thing that has made it different now is that with technology, we have so much ability to learn about our customer. Data is really something that is changing the sales game and giving you the ability to truly personalize the experience. So I think it's, I don't want to lose the human touch of it. And if you have the ability to personalize the experience, it's not that different than what you have been doing, but now it's time to go just a little bit deeper.
Well, what's interesting is we have got all this information available to us, but what I find so fascinating is that there are all these tools that allow us to speed everything up and do more. It's like, hey, if I could have made one phone call, think about now I can send 1,000 emails. Now I can send 10,000 emails. So because of AI, because of all these tools, because of everything out there, there's this ability that we can almost unpersonalize it because we're mass producing it. And I think this is what's causing us to say, hey, we got to become more personalized than ever. If everybody's doing a yin, we got to do a yang. And the yin is, how many emails do you get a day that you can tell was sent to 1,000 other people? We get dozens of them a day. It's that personalized message. It's that personalized communication. That's what our goal has to be. So if you want to stand out in a crowd, personalizing is the way you stand out.
Yeah, Bryn, thank you. You said what I was trying to say so much more
Yeah.
succinctly and so much more eloquently. I think it's easier to customize the experience at scale, but it's the same concept. Absolutely. Here's the thing. I think personalizing the customer experience is a really simple way for a very complex issue. So typically when you say personalize the experience, you're thinking about doing something that Mark says that I know him and I understand him. It's bigger than that. It is also taking any friction out of the buying experience. You have to understand the customer's journey, how they find you, what they're looking for, and make sure that working with you is not only tailored to them, but easy for them. Mark, I was thinking about this the other day. I was in a super Walmart. Enough said, right? The things are huge. They're massive. I was in like Illinois or somewhere like that, and I had bought everything that I needed, and then I remember I needed one more thing, and it was way on the other side of the store. And I said to myself, screw it. I'm going to go home and order this on Amazon because I don't feel like walking all the way to the other side of the store. And I think when it comes to personalizing the customer experience, Amazon is sort of the goal. They have made it so ridiculously easy to buy that we tend to choose them over the competition. I'm not proud of any of that. I'm not proud that I was in a super Walmart. I'm proud that I ended up walking across the building. But it struck me so strongly that I'm going to shoot a video and write a blog about it because I thought that's really fascinating that a company has made it so easy to buy that I won't walk across a store to get something immediately.
Now, think about that for a moment, because what does Amazon do? Because of your purchases, because of your history, they begin recommending other items to you. It's just like Netflix. If you go out and watch something on Netflix, they begin recommending to you. It's just like social media. Now, does that happen in a super Walmart? Does the Walmart suddenly reconfigure to match? No, it doesn't, because it can't. You see, here's the situation. We have to become personalized in everything, because here's the whole thing. Customers' expectations are different than they were 5 or 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Look at the advent of craft beers and specialty coffees. And I'm going to use these two as examples. 20 years ago, there was no such thing as a craft beer. There was no such thing as a specialty coffee. But now you ask anybody walking into a coffee location, and they've got some sort of specialty drink that they want made. You know what's very interesting is Starbucks has come out and said, because so many drinks are ordered on the app, they're more specialized than ever. Now, what does that do? Does that create a more unique experience? Yes, I think it does create a more unique experience. So what is this all about? If we don't truly understand the inner workings of our customer, we don't relate. I want to go back to what Bryn talked about, because Bryn's a master at LinkedIn. Think about it. You have your circle, you have your ecosystem on LinkedIn. I have my ecosystem. We overlap some, but we have very tight followers and we communicate with them, right? So what does that mean? We're able to create not a personalized, but at least a community. The trip to personalization is by first creating a community.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I love what Andy says here. I always ask what attracted you to my company, or why did you agree to this appointment? And what Andy's learning from that is what is of value to the customer. And when you know what is of value to the customer, then you know how to personalize it. Again, personalization is a funny word for a really complex issue, because we think about personalization is that if I'm interacting with Mark, I need to know to send him coffee as a gift because Mark drinks coffee all day long. Always cracks me up when people send me wine as a gift. I don't drink. And far too often people people do that, or they'll give me like cookies or cake or things like that, and I don't eat those things. So it's that level. But it's also, I love what Andy said, It is about knowing what is of value to the customer. The way that I determine how I'm going to write blogs or how I'm going to shoot a video is I just keep a list of all the questions that my customers ask me. Because if it was of interest to Mark, the chances that Natalie would have an interest in it are pretty sure.
I love this because this is the whole thing. If you stay in your ecosystem, we talk about ICP, your ideal customer profile. If you stay in that, sir, it is amazing how you're right. You find what works for me, and you're probably the other customers you're dealing with, probably similar to me. So therefore, it applies. This is why it's so important for us to not try to think that we can serve anybody and everybody. That is a bad way to do business, period. Don't go down that path. The tighter we become in understanding who our customers are, and the more we stay in that circle, the more personalization we can deliver. Because again, we learn from each other, from all the customers that we're servicing in our circle.
Yeah, I love what Natalie says here. It does take time, but it's so much better for the recipient. And our LinkedIn experts here, Bryn and Bill, have really chimed in. Some of the best prospecting starts with gathering their insights for content. Absolutely. Why would you prospect if you didn't understand what's important? Ask them to vote on a poll or interview them for a quote in an ebook. The key is to slow down the outreach to speed up the outcome. That is a mic drop. And then Bill just added, I just disconnected my automation tool for LinkedIn. Quality over quantity. Absolutely, Bill, because the more that it is, I call it the method of selling inside out. The better you intimately understand your existing customer, the better you're able to please them, and they will sell other people.
We have to get down to a customer of one. I'm going to go back, we used to have, the broadcast networks, ABC, NBC, CBS, broadcast networks. And then we really kind of morphed into what we call narrow casting, where there's so many channels, so many things, and it really is narrow. Now we're down into solo casting, and it really is communicating one-to-one. And these comments are absolutely terrific because, again, that mass message, you get that mass message that comes through, it doesn't resonate to you. But if somebody sends you a note, if somebody leaves you a voicemail, if somebody calls you and immediately asks you about golf or tennis, I think you're going to be engaged, right?
Yeah.
But it's understanding what drives you, what are your needs. That's what's absolutely critical to be successful in sales. It's no longer a mass market out there. It is an individual market out there.
Yeah, I love what Bryn says. Here's a great idea. Eric Bam grabs a personal picture from Facebook or Instagram, has a mug created and drop ship. Best gift, and I think of him every single time that I use it. We were talking the other day about, I saw something on Facebook where friends of ours were saying, what's the best speaker gift you've ever gotten? And a lot of times when we go and speak at an event, people give us a gift. And I can't tell you how often. It's lovely that they'll give us a gift, but it's a gift that I have no desire to use. But I went and spoke for this group in Kansas City, Kansas, and they gave me a bike jersey. And at the time, I was a huge road cyclist. And to this day, it's the best. It is the best gift I have ever gotten. And the reason is because it's not the jersey. It's that it told me they understood me and they know me. So you need to realize that when you do not personalize, you are telling the customer, I don't know you, and I really don't care to take the time to get to know you.
I love that, because in order for them to do that, they truly had to listen to you. And this is where personalizing the customer buying experience is so key. We've got to take time to listen to the customer. This is the big fault of so many salespeople. We come in and we just start telling the customer everything we can do. Who cares? Who cares? I want to listen to the customer, because in this era of noise out there, if we don't personalize, there is little chance that we are ever going to be successful. Now, think about that group that gave you that bike jersey. I have a feeling that any one of them could reach back out to you, or you could reach back out to them and just mention bike jersey, and boom, you'd immediately pick up the conversation again, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thomas, absolutely right. It's our responsibility to court our customers. Listening carefully is key, because if we listen, they will tell us exactly what they want and exactly what they need and exactly what matters, and basically is a value. But Mark, I've been working on something lately that I have never done before, and I'm really curious what the audience thinks. But I am trying to map my customer journey. It's kind of interesting to me that in certain aspects where I thought the customers would interact and reach out to me is not how I'm getting contacted. It's different than that, which tells me that I don't understand where my customer is coming to me. And I'm just curious if anybody in the audience does anything like that, or if you intimately understand your customer journey.
Yeah, you know what? Back in my old consumer packaged goods days, we used to map the customer journey exceedingly well. I mean, we understood that absolutely step by step, and that was in kind of more of a B2C, arena. In B2B, we don't do that. And you know what? I think we need to. I think we need to really understand, because how we think the customer is finding us is not necessarily how. I mean, just because a customer, I had a gentleman, good size sales team, they reached out to me on my website. Now, is that where the customer journey began? No. And talking with him, the customer journey began because he had been listening to our podcast, been following me for several years, and then their sales team went through a dramatic change, downward spiral, and he reached out. So where did the customer journey begin? The awareness began because he began following me, but the trigger point was that the sales team went through a downward spiral. That means that communication just happened to be he responded and connected to me on the website. But see, we would naturally think it's the website, but no, it's actually further back. And you got to understand what is the thinking of the customer before they contact you.
Yeah, absolutely. Andy, I want to make a comment here because you're absolutely so right. If everybody asks about golf, there's no personal attachment. I think what Mark meant was that if somebody were reaching out to me, they would talk about golf or tennis, because those are really my passion. And like, if you reached out to our friend Mary Kelly, who's in our mastermind, you would talk about wine or dogs, because those are the two things that, other than her fiance, those are the two things that Mary loves more in life. So it's absolutely about knowing this. But here's the thing about this customer journey is that I think this is, by not understanding this, and Bill, I love that you and I are on the same page, so maybe we can continue to talk about this. I'm embarrassed to say that for my own business, I have never mapped my customer's journey. Certainly I ask, where did you hear about me? Where did you find out about me? But that certainly isn't understanding how customers are getting to me. And without understanding where they're getting to me, I don't understand where to put more content. I don't understand where to be more visible. I don't understand if I have made the path challenging to get to me, or I have made it easy to get to me. I don't know where people opt out. I don't know where they opt in. I don't know what content they're really looking at. I mean, I track that on my website. I look at my data every month to see what blogs got traction or what videos got traction, but I don't piece it together. And I feel like if I could do that, I would have the story of my customer. And if I had the story of my customer, I can intimately understand them, and I can make getting to me a better experience, a more valuable experience, and a less frictionless experience.
Yeah. Bill, I love what you're saying. Bill's a member of our mastermind group, the Sales Logic Mastermind Group. And I love this because if you think about it, we're really kind of tying in marketing and sales. And I don't care if you're a solopreneur or a company, if you think about marketing, you know what we do on LinkedIn, we do on social media. That's kind of a marketing presence. We have email lists, we have those types of things. But again, it's targeting and getting tight, getting very specific. And this is absolutely key. And again, it comes back to, we personalize the experience, not when we think it's personalized, but when the customer thinks it's personalized. I'm going to go back to what Andy said real quick regarding golf. You're right. If we just mention golf, to Mayor, well, everybody talks about golf, Mayor. But if they talk about a specific tournament that's going on this weekend, and the third round and who made the cut, something of that nature. What does that do? That automatically says, this person understands golf more than just golf. They understand what's happening in golf. And I think this is the key thing. Personalizing is not being on a subject, but being intimate to the subject.
Well, let me tell you this, though. I think that you can just mention golf to me. And here's no. Let me tell you why and why that's personalized. I was speaking at an event, and a gentleman came up to me. I just walked in the room. I'm the speaker. He sees me from a picture and recognizes I'm the speaker. And he said, "What's your handicap?" And the moment that he asked me what my handicap was, it told me he had researched me. He knew about me. And let me tell you, the emotional connection to him at that point was much stronger. Now, I mean, he didn't know if I was a good golfer or a bad golfer. He didn't know if I golfed every day or I golfed once a month. He didn't know. But that immediate connection said, you took the time to learn something about me. And I think that's where the personalization begins. But I think where the power is, and Bill, you and I are sync up on this, because I'm a little obsessed right now with mapping the journey, because where I think I am in personalizing the process, I think I do a good job with knowing my customer on the surface with what they tell me. I'm not going into the data of understanding how they buy, and where they look for information. That to me is the future of personalization.
You know, that's so critical, because you can't do that broadly. You've got to do that tightly. So it absolutely means that we have to be in a tight circle. And that really takes and sets up beautifully the book we've chosen for this week, How Clients Buy, by Doug Fletcher and Matt McCacken. And I'll tell you what, this is an excellent book for you to dive into, because it's going to help you really understand how do customers, because we got to get to their side of the desk. If we're not on their side of the desk, we have no chance. So I think, hey, this great conversation this morning.
Yeah. So what is the lightning round, Mark?
Lightning round. Are you ready? Oh, this is a fun one. 10 biggest mistakes you see salespeople make.
Well, number one, let's just keep with the theme. They don't personalize the experience. I can tell you how many people reach out to me on LinkedIn and ask if I have ever thought of publishing a book. Just so the audience knows, I am on book number 11 as we speak.
Well, there you go. So, okay. I don't know. Have you written a book? No. Hey, I'm going to say you make one phone call, they don't respond, so they must not be interested.
Yeah. I think that I think a big mistake that salespeople make is that they spend way too much time talking. They dominate the conversation and don't understand the importance of listening.
They show up and they tell the customer, hey, this is everything we can do. They walk through and they give them an unbelievable presentation of everything. Big mistake.
Number 5 is, I would say that they do not customize the sales presentation. And what I mean by that is that, you sit there through a demo when all you really wanted was slide number 52, but you had to sit through 51 slides to get to slide 52.
They don't realize the importance of the sales call is the questions you ask, not the information you share.
Yeah, I would say not embracing technology or new techniques or being innovative and cutting edge.
I'm surprised you haven't said this already, so I'm going to steal it from you. Follow up. They don't follow up. They just don't follow up.
Yeah. I would say that they don't do the research. They go in. Number 8 is that they go in and they ask questions that, quite frankly, had they done a little bit of research, they could have found out already. And it signals to the customer they've wasted the customer's time.
Number 9, they're chasing a shiny object. This is a customer they should never be dealing with to begin with, but for some reason, they're reaching out to them.
Yeah, they overpromise, way overpromise. Tell the customer that they can do things that they cannot do.
Wow. Hey, with that, we want to say thank you for listening to Sales Logic this week. If you like what you hear, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast app. Something we've said has earned you $1. Hey, consider telling a friend about our show, because it's how we grow when we help you grow. I'm Mark Hunter.
And I'm Meridith Elliott Powell.
Remember, when you sell with confidence and integrity,
all of this uncertainty suddenly becomes your competitive advantage.
And the sale becomes logical when you join the Sales Logic Mastermind.
Well, that's probably the stupidest thing salespeople do. They forget to join the Sales Logic Mastermind. Listen, take a look at the brand new website. It's had a facelift. Go out to saleslogicpodcast.com. Thank you as always for being the most amazing audience ever. We'll see you right back here next week, 8 a.m. Eastern, for another episode of Sales Logic.